The following footage is recorded from the pre-release version of Pillars of Eternity. This game is heavily story-driven, and any recordings within may contain spoilers. Hello and welcome back, and welcome to Dover Plays Pillars of Eternity. Okay, so in the last episode we got our little elf guy who's going to be helping us, Eloth, and we were about to head into the inn. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so I remember that the dwarf said
Good day to you.
hello and welcome to the innkeeper. Look up. Oh, it's you. Tenrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Excellent. Consider yourself a favourite at the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen, she laughs. So what would you like? We want a room. The Black Hound? Who's the Black Hound? I'd like a room. Certainly, you're always welcome. Excellent. Oh, cool. How much money do I have? Inns allow characters to rest without using camping supplies. Cheap rooms are usually available, but if you have copper to spend, you may consider the more expensive options. The bonuses they provide last for a long time and affect the entire party. Nice. +2 resolve, +1 perception, and +1 mechanics. Yep, go for that. Yep. Ah, nice warm fire. Excellent. Ooh, your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face was shriveled inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see the woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Find the dwarf woman from the dream. Okay. We're going to have a quick scout around the inn first. Any point? Oh, I'll go speak to Tenrith. Ah, it's you, my saviour. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this you will eat nothing else. A savoury pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Is he... what are we doing? Are we doing something? Some beer on the shelf? Maybe not take it. I will name a dish in your honour. Okay. Perhaps a fine dessert. Okay. Have we learnt the thing he was going to teach us? Do I even know? How do we know? Who knows? Okay. Let's be off. Let's go and see this hanging person from the tree. Did think we was going to be revisiting this tree that we saw in the previous episode. A couple of people outside. No interest, no interest. Come down here. In here. In we go. Oh, she's glowing nicely. The squat, distended body of an elderly rough woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. Sounds like she's dead. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts a light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it. Here we go. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt in your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down into some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head and the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
The world
looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay. What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on. And those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them. Know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder.
What do you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties. You should see old Mayorwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kanua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company. Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Call them. Those days are all behind me now.
They break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. But less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us, the best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins, miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Right, what happened to you?
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife. See why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months. Looked high and low for impurities. Tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
I see. Well, farewell.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Okay, she's gone back to being dead. This happens a lot. You'll have to get used to it. He folds his arms. That's good to know, but I don't suppose you could tell me what that was about. I'm a watcher. Well, that is interesting. And I expect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're travelling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about watchers? Only that they're rare, and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions, as you just demonstrated. Let's get going then. Travel to Siadnua. So where is that? Oh, way over there. Well, okay. I guess we're out of here then. Road east. Road west. Road south. South we want to go. So over there.
17 and a half.
17 and a half what? Oh, plant. Margran's Fork. We'll be heading there then. And seems like a good point to take a break. Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in for the next episode as we travel through Margran's Fork.